Speaking of money being dirty in sports, there's some golf Ryder Cup live ongoing drams, which I have to say I kind of live for.
You're living for the drums
I
of it
live for the
all?
golf drums because, like, okay, right, okay, yes, there has been this contingent of like PGA golfers that are like, no, we do not want to participate in Saudi sports washing of their like human rights shit. And
Yes.
Saudis are like poaching all these golfers, which like for hundreds of millions of dollars, some of them. So it's like, how are you going to say no to that when it's a better quality of life for you and your family and more money? So I get it. But there have been holdouts, right? So like McElroy, even Tiger has spoken out about it. And then all of a sudden, this shit, they fucking announce a merger after all that. I just imagine like if you're Rory McIlroy, you're like, fuck my life. But that's not even the drums that we're talking about because that was old news. What was the drums that you saw?
I mean, I would actually argue that still a tension that's going on
Right, because no one
is
actually knows what the deal is between the yeah.
I certainly do not. And the PGA Tour has, of course, said we can't provide the same lucrative contracts that
Right.
Saudi Arabia's public investment fund.
I know exactly. Sovereign wealth fund shit. So I mean, like, but the leverage that they could provide is that we are the premier league and our standings are going to matter more. And like, you won't be able to qualify for our events if you're with that company, which is like, that's good leverage, right? But then all of a sudden they like walk this back with this deal. And now it's like, well, if everybody can play in the same field, how are you incentivizing PGA Tour players to stay and not go to lit? Like, then you're losing everything.
This is it. So my understanding is up until right now, but it sounds like shit's changing all the time, is the Ryder Cup competition between Europe and the US. The PGA of America oversees the US side of this competition of PGA Tour. Live events, you don't get world ranking points for it. And in theory, before this merger, you weren't going to be eligible to play for the US team if you were playing on the Live Tour.
Right.
However, now that has changed. And
Uh,
Live players can be a captain's pick for the Ryder Cup. This has obviously pissed off not only individuals who are anti-live, pro PGA, like Rory, you were mentioning, but I think it's also been confusing. What's the level and quality of play we're trying to go for here?
right. Which is like everyone was saying that, but then you have like Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka winning majors in the last couple of years. And so then it's like, fuck.
Okay, so let me go on the European side of things. Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, these are big names on the European tour. They have been for 20 years now. I get why those players go to the live side of things because they're on the end of their careers. They're not making
Right.
a lot of money. They're not that competitive, but they face sanctions from Europe for joining the live tour.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm pointing that out is that the way Europe is handling this is actually still different from the way that the US PGA of America is handling it.
Yeah, what else is new? Yeah.
Exactly, in general in life. Everything down to like what's in our McDonald's. But
Yeah.
I truthfully wonder then how does that even the playing field for the Ryder Cup if each of these sides is going to have different rules for their players on who's even eligible. Like
Ooh,
it
that's
really starts
true.
to blur the lines and I'm not here for it. I'll be honest, as a golf fan and somebody that's been watching since yeah, like Tiger of the late 90s getting me so pumped into it. Listen, I love some tension. I love some drama, much like you, P. Like it keeps things interesting. Golf has been so boring lately. Like we miss Tiger. We miss
Yeah.
Tiger. The broadcast, like the networks miss Tiger. Ticket sales miss Tiger. Merch miss like everyone misses Tiger. He just was
Hmm.
so great economically for the sport and just attention wise. But golf is really suffering. Golf has not been able to get an enthusiastic fan base. And they certainly are trying to, I'm hoping, figure out ways to do so. But I just want to say this is not the way to do it.
Yeah, I
Is to
know.
partner with LIV. This is not exciting anyone. My generation and younger, who are the folks who should be engaging, we're not excited about a tour that's funded by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund.
Totally. And like I am loving all of the young Asian and South Asian talent coming into golf. And it's like they are so far removed from this whole fucking money scandal because they're just starting out. And I don't want their careers to be like tainted or overshadowed by all of this bullshit. Because I genuinely like watching golf for them now.
Pete, that's such a good point. And I think unfortunately, those types of players aren't getting
Deals from Live
deal
either. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they really should be, because I actually think that's one way
To get
that
in.
golf can invest in the sport and drum up some enthusiasm. You know, in another life, I was like, that's it. I want to be a golf commentator and I want to like get things interesting and energetic and exciting and really highlight the stories of these golfers in a way that engages the audience and doesn't bore them. Like nobody
Yeah.
cares who, great. I want to know who your caddy is and I want to know who your swing coach is. I get it, but I also want to know about some of the other things. You know, I want to know about the struggles, the injuries, but there it is not at all covered. And then what it is, it's when their career's already hit a peak and we're talking about Tiger Woods' spinal fusion surgery.
Right. Right. It's all just like the homogeneity is not just in the players, it's in like the coverage and the storytelling and
Correct. I do think, listen, as of all the major sports that are out there, I think golf is the one that is so behind on innovating itself, and it will only lose even more.
well, let's see what we can do with our little podcast here, Benita.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Truthfully, and you know what? It's going to be like the LPGA and the women who save it.
Oh, dude,
I
and I
just
love some
want
of
to put
those
that out there.
women. Yeah.
They're
Well,
the
the
incredible
women are saving
stories.
everything right now in sports.
Everything. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, they will also be saving some other big things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, even as a Canadian, you feel that heat.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I
it
know. The
impacts
whole
us up
world.
here. Yep, the
The
whole
whole world.
world.